Hello, today I'd like to discuss the on-screen keyboard feature that's available on most tablet devices and hybrid devices. Before I begin the demonstration of its features, I'd like to discuss the individuals who it might benefit. So number one, I have injury, which is any individual with a short-term injury where maybe they need to wear a glove or a cast, and that makes it impossible or difficult to type. I also have number two, RSI, repetitive strain injury, which could be tendonitis, carpal tunnel. There's many more. Number three, I have tremors. A person who has tremors may benefit from an on-screen keyboard. And number four, I have a tactile disorder, which means that a traditional keyboard, the touch or the feel is off-putting to where it's impossible to use a keyboard. And there's so many more people that can benefit from an on-screen keyboard. Now on to its features. You'll see in the lower right-hand corner of my screen I have the date and time. You'll see my cursor is hovering over it. Next to that is ENG, that tells us the language that we're in. And to the left of that is the touch keyboard. So I'm going to pause my video for a second so I can pull up the keyboard. Alright, so I have my keyboard pulled up, and I'm going to scroll on my Word document so we can see the features. So the first one I have listed is accent marks and symbols. So the accent marks are accessed just like on your cell phone with that keyboard, that if I touch and hold a letter, it'll give me accent options. So for example, I'll use A. If I touch and hold A, I can see all of these accent marks, and I can select them. Additionally, I can, for example, with the letter I can see the number option that corresponds with that letter and its accent marks. For symbols, we can, on a traditional keyboard, we can see the dollar symbol. Now with this keyboard, the on-screen keyboard, I can touch this arrow key and I can get a few other currency symbols, as well as a variety of symbols that are not available on a regular keyboard. Back to my letters. We can also see that there's different language options. I've selected a few. So we have English, French, Irish, Vietnamese, Arabic, Burmese, Sanskrit, and those are super helpful for maybe someone who is learning a different language or teaching a different language. So we have different language options. There's also the double tap space option, which is just like with your cell phone. So if I write a brief sentence here, and I'm going to use my pen so you can see what buttons I'm touching. So I'll say, hello, friend, and I will double tap the space bar to input a period. And that's just a little bit of an easier method of putting in the period symbol than on a regular keyboard. If you think about a regular keyboard and how you have to access that, you have to use your ring finger on your right hand and kind of manipulate your hand in a weird way to touch that key. This is just a much more user-friendly option. We also have autocorrect and suggestions. So as I was typing hello friend, you could see that the keyboard itself was making suggestions for me. I can say how are you, and it will also make suggestions for me. So now I can see there's how, there's are, you, and then I can input a question mark. So it also makes it easier in that sense. And for the last one I have is the letter and symbol display. Now on a regular keyboard we see all of the letters in capitals. On an on-screen keyboard, we see capital letters here, and if I hit the Shift key, I can see a lowercase. I can hit Shift again and see uppercase. I can hit the symbols key, see all of the symbols that are available, and hit the over button and see more symbols. So there's just so many more options and visual representation for the keyboard and the on-screen keyboard than the traditional keyboard. And that's a brief look into the features of a keyboard. I hope you enjoyed this, and the last thing I want to mention is that there is an emoji option, just for fun, so you can see all of these emoji options. And I hope you really enjoyed this. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.